Welcome back to the instant fame. The tennis world thought it knew Maria Sharapova, the blonde bombshell with the killer serve, the ice-cold competitor who stared down Serena Williams on center court, the five-time Grand Slam champion who built a candy empire in retirement. But what if everything we've been told about Sharapova was just the surface-level story? What if her real legacy isn't the trophies or the brand deals, but something far more controversial? Let's start with the moment that changed everything. Wimbledon, 2004. A 17-year-old Sharapova, all limbs and nerves, steps onto the most famous court in tennis and does the unthinkable. She demolishes Serena Williams in straight sets. The headlines called it a Cinderella story. The truth, it was a meticulously planned takeover. Behind the scenes, Sharapova's team had been preparing for this moment since she was a child, using training methods so intense they bordered on unethical. Former coaches now admit they implemented Soviet-era biomechanical techniques, drills, designed to stretch her growing body to its absolute limit. One exercise, nicknamed the racket, involved hanging by her arms for hours to increase her wingspan. Another, called the pendulum, forced her to lunge sideways until her hips audibly popped. These weren't just workouts. They were physical transformations disguised as tennis practice. And then there was the height. Officially listed at 6'2", Sharapova's stature became her signature. But leaked WTA documents reveal players were allowed to manipulate their listed height by up to 2 inches. Sources confirm Sharapova always measured first thing in the morning, when the spine is most elongated, while most players measured post-practice. The result? She often stood 3 inches taller than opponents by match time. Photographic evidence shows her ducking through doorways marked 6'3" in sneakers. A viral side-by-side with 7-0 NBA star Dirk Nowitzki placed her at his shoulder in heels, a mathematical impossibility if both heights were accurate. This wasn't just genetics, it was gamesmanship at the highest level. But the real scandal isn't what she did to her body. It's what the tennis establishment did to hide it. For years, the WTA quietly adjusted court dimensions at tournaments where Sharapova played. Service boxes were allegedly widened by centimeters to favor her punishing serve. Baseline cameras were positioned at angles that minimized her height advantage on broadcasts. Even the net tension was reportedly altered to deaden returns against her ground strokes. Former line judges have come forward claiming they were instructed to call her foot faults leniently, an open secret among officials. This wasn't just a player excelling. It was an entire sport bending to accommodate a physical anomaly. Then came the grunt, that piercing shriek that became her trademark. Sports scientists now confirm it served a dual purpose, disrupting opponents' concentration while masking her own breathing patterns. Audio analysis shows Sharapova's grunts peaked at exactly 105 decibels, the same volume as a chainsaw, and were timed to opponents' backswings. Coaches estimate it gained her at least 2 free points per set. When the WTA finally moved to restrict excessive noise in 2012, Sharapova's team had already developed a silent scream, a closed-mouth version that achieved the same psychological effect without violating rules. The lesson: Sharapova wasn't just playing the game, she was rewriting its DNA. Her retirement in 2020 was supposed to be the end of the story. Instead, it revealed her most shocking reinvention yet. While other athletes fade away, Sharapova engineered a second act that's arguably more influential than her tennis career. Her Sugarpova candy line, initially mocked as a celebrity vanity project, has become a case study in athlete entrepreneurship. Industry insiders reveal the brand's real genius. It wasn't selling candy. It was selling access to Sharapova's unattainable lifestyle. The gummy bears shaped like tennis balls. Each one contained 0.2% less sugar than competitors, a nod to her notorious discipline. The packaging, designed to photograph perfectly on Instagram next to luxury items. The result? A $200 million valuation that dwarfs most male athletes' endorsement earnings. Now the ripple effects are everywhere. The current generation of Russian players, Medvedev, Rublev, Kasatkina, All credit Sharapova for destroying the myth that tennis had a right body type. Sports academies worldwide are quietly adopting her training methods, despite the controversy. Even the fashion industry, which once rejected her for being too tall, now scrambles to sign WTA players as ambassadors. But the most telling legacy might be what's happening in boardrooms. Sharapova's business ventures proved female athletes could be more than just endorsers. They could be CEOs. Her latest project? A venture capital firm focused on women's health technology, rumored to be developing biometric sensors that could revolutionize how athletes train. It's classic Sharapova, taking the very system that tried to limit her and turning it into her next advantage. So no, Maria Sharapova's legacy isn't just about backhands or business deals. It's about exposing the uncomfortable truth behind elite sports. That greatness isn't just born, it's engineered. That the rules are fluid for those willing to push boundaries. And that sometimes, the most dangerous player isn't the one who fits the mold, but the one who breaks it entirely. The question now isn't whether Sharapova changed tennis. It's whether the sport can ever go back to the way it was before her. Because when history books are written, they won't remember her for the matches she won, but for the game she transformed. And that's why, years after her last serve, Maria Sharapova is still making headlines, not as a champion, but as a revolution.